Well, hello, everybody. This is Dr. Annette Feravich with Healthy Mind, Body, Spirit. And you can find me on the internet at www.healthymindbodyspirit.net. I know I'm recording. I don't know if I'm live. I have a big error message, but it doesn't matter because it's midnight here in Michigan, and that's when I'm recording. And I'm recording at midnight only because I need to get an introduction done, and I'm ready to get the introduction done, so I'm doing it right now. And I sometimes like doing these things live, just so you could kind of see what's going on. And we're getting ready for the holidays, as you can see, which is wonderful. But I wanted to give you an introduction to the part 2 of our new series. Actually, it's not really a new series, is it? It's a series that I had available since last year about this time. I completed it, but it wasn't edited. And now, and it makes it a long video. Now I'm editing the video, and so you're able to get this in smaller chunks. But as I said before, I went to edit this video and I actually didn't have a lot to cut out. So what I did instead was I made it a 2-part video. And the second part for this introduction to this depression and behavior series. So an introduction to our edited version for this video series on depression and behavior. Episode number 1 is What is Depression? And this is an introduction to part 2 of episode 1. Is depression due to nature or is depression due to nurture? And so this is a really important question. And it's important for us to understand what we are capable of doing for depression. Remember that I am always a proponent of behaviors that help us with depression. And so, how much is depression, or any personality characteristic for that matter, how much of it is due to nature, due to our biology, right? Due to our DNA, basically. And what we're talking about more specifically then are those things that are unchangeable about us, okay? That is really the important component here. If we believe that things are DNA based or even chemistry based, we then exclude the possibility often of having an environmental component that changed that chemistry, that changed our biology, that turned on DNA, that turned on chromosomes or turned off some of them, just like we get our chemistry activated or inactivated. Okay? All right, so I wanted to give you some of the science behind what is going on with depression, and also what is going on relative to our biological contributions and our environmental contributions. When we talk about environmental contributions, we are talking about those things then that are changeable, right? Again, remember, if behaviors are those things that got us into certain personality characteristics, certain habits, certain beliefs, then it is behaviors that can get us out. It isn't that much better than using a pharmaceutical. I'm not saying that we don't often rely on chemistry, right? We often rely on chemistry, and we can stimulate chemistry artificially sometimes. That's what I talk about when I talk about engagement. I talk about trying to stimulate things like dopamine and serotonin and epinephrine. Remember our adrenaline if you watched episode number 1. And so I also talked in episode number 1 about ways that I'm getting engaged during this holiday season. And so I didn't give you the right name. I want to tell you. So I've done a lot of things for Christmas to help me get in the mood and get in the spirit. But also remember that the holidays, they're about, um, well, uh, they really are about new birth, right? Isn't it about really, right? It's about the birth of the Christ child, of Emmanuel, our Savior, right? He comes to save us. Emmanuel, he saves. And so, and isn't that our hope for the season? Isn't that really our hope? I wasn't going to necessarily talk about that necessarily, but I have I have some information out there about Santa Claus, and sometimes I believe that we really, with Santa Claus, really forget who we are hoping to come during this Christmas season. And so getting engaged in all kinds of ways. And of course, for me, I would be telling you that you get engaged mentally, right? So you're not thinking negative thoughts and you're not ruminating. If you watch my series, it's not faking ourselves out either, though, right? It's not faking ourselves out into being happy. It really is a genuine and authentic happiness, and that's part of the lessons that I teach. So, being engaged, again, I gave the wrong name of the YouTube channel, and it was not Guns N' Roses. Of course, it's not Guns N' Roses because that's the rock band has that. It is Glue Guns N' Roses. And so, if you remember, I did a couple of these, actually more than a couple. I did 7 of them. And I just did, I outlined it. I really did a few other extra things on this. But again, remember, crafting is being crafty, and being crafty is using things that you might have. I'm maybe older than some of you, so I've got a lot of these things. And even with my tree, all that I did with my tree, I told you last time I really liked this tree, but all that I did was I took my tree that I bought last year, that's a lighted tree, so I didn't have to constantly kill new trees, right? Just for the holiday. And all I did was then I stuck a bunch of red things in there and literally just looked at it and stuck them in there and then spread those things out or whatever. And you can see I have all kinds of things. Some of them I did have to purchase, but most of them I purchased at the dollar store and just shoved them in there in places that I thought that they looked really nice. So crafting, being crafty, right? And I wanted to show you one more thing about, because I got engaged and I wanted to give, because I didn't get Glue Guns N' Roses right. I wanted to get it right. And I wanted to show you one more holiday thing that I was doing while getting engaged. I hung it up over here because it was hanging up outside and I had to bring it inside. And so this also was something from Glue Guns N' Roses, and this was just one of those 3D wreaths that I actually got from Dollar Store. I'm not sure if there are better options because it was a little awkward, but that's part of crafting, is trying to figure it out, right? It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be to wrap this around. It kept slipping off and it's not a very solid thing. But you do it a few times in the middle and you get the hang of it. And then just bought this and glued this on, right, and had lots of ribbon that I had, and then got this at the dollar store and hung it. And then these lights were so cheap. I think I got these at the dollar store as well. So so now I've got, and I made 2 of these. So I love that. And there are a lot of hard things that I'm going through. If you watch my mystery series, I hope you are watching my mystery series. There are a lot of hard things that I'm going through. And, oh good, I was just checking if I'm recording. And so this helps me get my mind in the right space where it needs to be. It needs to be with the meaning of Christmas. It needs to be with relationships that are important to me, and it needs to be considering those important relationships as well. So that gives me a healthy mind, which gives me also, All right, it's related to a healthy spirit as well, right? It's related to a healthy spirit because I'm looking at the meaning of Christmas. So thinking about all of those things. And then also maybe planning for a healthy body as well during these holiday seasons. Realize that we are prone to be eating sugar, and if you feel like you have this kind of addiction to sugar, that you are just eating a lot more sugar than you think that you really should, that's even beyond this normal time of the season, check for parasites. I keep saying this. And also I have got electromagnetic frequencies. I have true rife treatments that treat for parasites. And I'm telling you, it not only gets rid of the parasites, what it does is it gets my gut in order as well, getting rid of those parasites. And getting my gut in order then means that I am not craving things like sugar that the parasites really crave, right? So when we crave things like sugar, a lot of times, and also have that bloating feeling as well, a lot of times we can attribute that to parasites. So look at my website, www.healthymindbodyspirit.net, and find out a little bit more about the true rife electromagnetic treatments that I have available for all kinds of things, including it's helping me take care of this cold that I just got when I was just at my friend's this past weekend in Grand Rapids. Their son had a cold, and I don't get colds very often, and I got it like that. But I'm reminded that when I do this, it builds my immunity. So it's already gone from the chest up to the nose now, so you can hear it in my nose. And so I have to get off of here, to get that all cleaned out. But that's where it's supposed to. It's not supposed to be dropping down in my chest. It's supposed to be coming up. The immunity should be kicking it out of my system, which is exactly what it's doing. So don't be so afraid sometimes of letting your body do things naturally. Get your mind healthy, get your spirit healthy, and your body gets healthy, and it makes you more motivated to get your body healthy. Thank you for joining me for this little introduction. And what I'm going to do then is this introduction will go into the nature nurture video that I have. So part 2 of what is depression, and focusing on concepts that have to do with nature and nurture and how we determine those things scientifically. All personality traits have a nature component. No. All personality characteristics have a nurture component, an environmental component. They have a nature component as well. Okay, they do. But most of us conceive that nature component is much larger than it actually is. So watch this part 2 that I'm obviously making way too long already. Okay, it's a short 20-minute, less than 20 minutes, and I don't want to make it extra long for you. So watch part 2 on nature and nurture to help us better understand what is depression, part of my depression and behavior series. Thanks for joining me. Happy holidays. Whoops. Here it is.